Welcome to Living Life in the End for the Successful and Fulfilled Woman. I am your host, Dr. Stephanie D. Barnes, the Liberated Lawyer. I help women to get everything they desire in life by equipping them with powerful strategies to achieve the fulfillment they desire and deserve. Who said you can't have it all? Clearly, they did not know about living life in the end. When women make powerful decisions and create great strategies, they can have everything they desire in life. Girlfriend, forget about choosing between being successful or fulfilled. You can be successful and fulfilled. It's time. It's time for you to get everything you desire and deserve. It's time for you to live your life on purpose. It's time for you to live a life that is fulfilled, meaningful, and full of joy. It's time for you to walk boldly in the power of your decisions. If you are going to be in this world, you need to be fulfilled in this life. Life is too long to be unfulfilled. Join me for another episode of Living Life in the End, where you learn how to live fulfilled, fit, and free. It's time. It's time for a musing from the mind of Dr. SDB, where I share provocative thoughts to help you live your life in the end. Girl, I've got something on my mind. You know, in a world where our lives revolve around screens and pings and constant connection, the idea of unplugging, even for a weekend, can feel more intimidating than freeing. But sometimes what we fear letting go of is exactly what we need to release. In the previous episode, I shared with you that I had a beautiful experience during a work retreat to Miraval Resort in Austin, Texas. And so I've been sharing and will share 5 episodes that are beautiful lessons that I learned while experiencing that retreat. I want to share a little sacred experience that I had during this technology-free retreat that left me feeling more connected to myself than any app ever could. Before we arrived at the retreat, they shared, the information about the property. And as I was looking through the materials, I noticed, oh my gosh, this is technology free. There was an entire section about how important it is to unplug and that there was a no technology policy in the common spaces and that, people were free to use their phones, etc., in their rooms, but in the common spaces, we wanted to honor the environment around us and not have our phones. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little resistant to this thought. Now, not because I just gotta have my phone with me and I, didn't want to not have it, but I didn't want to take a laptop. I didn't even take my laptop with me. I was good with not having my phone, but I like to meditate and read. And at this stage in my life, all of my meditation apps, my music, my audiobooks, my ebooks, everything is on my iPad or my phone. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to really do what I want to do because I can't have access to my phone. I learned that I could at least have my tablet. I'm like, okay, well, that'll work because then I can listen to the apps on my iPad. And of course, I was gonna have my headphones, and then I was like, oh, okay, and I'm gonna have my Apple Watch. So it was really honestly a little difficult to be technology free because the thing I realized is that everything I have is digital. I have two really nice watches, but I don't wear them anymore because I either use my phone as my watch or my Apple Watch as my watch. And when I saw the technology free policy, I was like, oh, well, let me go get one of my watches. And that way at least I can tell time. So in case they were super strict, I'd have a way to tell time. Yeah, both the batteries in both of those watches was dead as a doorknob. They've been dead probably. And of course, I didn't think about that until it was too late to even try and go get a new battery for a watch. So I was like, well, hopefully, they'll be okay with me having my Apple Watch. It's amazing, how connected we get to being connected. And to be honest, I am a little bit too connected to my phone. I take it everywhere with me, everywhere I go in the house. A lot of people, when they come in the house, they maybe charge their phones and go on about their business. My phone is with me all the time. Some of it is because I live alone and my phone is my connection to the outside world. It's how I keep in touch with my honey, to text or call if I like, and being connected to my sons or my mom and dad. I carry this dang thing with me though all the time. And I have reflected on how I feel like sometimes my phone is a tether because it's everywhere I go. And I have been trying to unplug literally so that my phone is not indeed a tether because there's really nobody that needs to be connected to me 24/7. And if there is an emergency, I hear the thing ringing somewhere else. And I do need to spend less time on social media. It is a huge distraction because that's how I keep up with people. I don't talk on the phone a lot. That's a really interesting thing about me. I've never been a real talk on the phone person. I talked on the phone most probably when I was in high school. Well, middle school and high school, you used to talk to your little boyfriend on the phone, uh, and then talk to my friends on the phone. But as an adult, I don't really talk to my friends on the phone that much. So I have my bestie and I, who I got to visit when I was in Austin. We send memes to each other all day. That's how we communicate and love on each other is we send memes and then every once in a while we actually have a phone conversation. But anyway, let's not digress. But the point being is this experience was something that I needed in so many different ways. And being unconnected from a digital device is something that I think we all can benefit from. So, when I got there was an unexpected peace because the entire property is really designed for peaceful relaxation. The common spaces, because, everyone is focused on wellness and relaxation, it's just very calming. There are chimes and beautiful flowers throughout, and it is just a place that exudes calmness. And so, once I settled into my room, I said, well, I'm just going to go and take a little walk around the property to get familiar with the surroundings, see where things are, and just enjoy the free time that I had before my yoga class. I walked around and it was so incredibly peaceful. No buzz, no screens, just nature. And much to my delight, I found a hammock. Y'all, I love a hammock. I love a hammock. I got in that hammock and I let the breeze just rock me gently. And it was so relaxing. I closed my eyes, and for the first time in what felt like forever, I just exhaled. I breathed. And it was quiet. It was still. It was bliss. And I laid in that hammock for I don't know how long, but I think I set my little timer so that I would, stay on schedule. But I just laid in that hammock and allowed the breeze to rock me and just relaxed. And then I got up and I went to my yoga class, and it was a restorative yoga class. So it was even more peaceful. Yoga's peaceful anyway, but this was a restorative yoga class that was focused on breathing and relaxing and stretching a little bit. But it was so beautiful that at the end, I shed a little tear. Y'all, I cried so much during this retreat, but not boohoo sad cries, but just tears of joy and release. It was very cathartic. But anyway, first day was just wonderful. And then on the second day, I got up and worked out because y'all know I don't miss a workout. But after my workout, I took a little different route back to my room, and I found this kind of large rock under a tree. And I sat down on that rock just for a minute. I was like, I'm just gonna sit here for a minute. But y'all, I closed my eyes and just took in the beauty of the moment. I could hear the wind rustling through the leaves. There were chimes dancing in the air and playing the most beautiful, perfect melody. It's like I had been transported to another place. And I decided, well, this is a good place to do my meditation. I have a routine where every morning I do what's called a 6-part meditation. I start with focusing on someone that I love, and then I focus on what I'm grateful for, and then I focus on forgiveness. If there's somebody that's pissed me off, that's the time where I exercise forgiveness and really commit to that and not allowing whatever encounter or whatever it is to just sit on my heart and weigh me down. And then I focus on my vision for the day, and I think through what I want to do that day and how I want to feel. And then I think about the vision for my life. And then I transition into blessings and do my daily prayers. So I decided to sit down and do my meditation and prayer. And I got to the prayer and I did my normal prayers. I pray for my family, my friends, and my sons. I pray for people. I pray for anything I'm dealing with, or, just I pray over my finances, Lord Jesus, Lord, and won't you enlarge my territory. But anyway, lest I digress. But I pray every morning. And so anyway, when I got to my prayer, y'all, are just the tears just started coming, and I was just so grateful, especially when I got to the gratitude part. I was just sitting there just tears streaming down my face. I'm sure I looked good and crazy. I didn't care because I felt good. And it was just such a great release. And I don't think it was by chance that I went to the rock to release my pain and disappointment and whatever it was that had been weighing me down. I let it go. And that's the beautiful thing about unplugging and releasing is it leads to your breakthrough. And, before this retreat, I'd been in this little fog because I was sad. I was just sad about things that weren't working out. And I had been, moving through a season of heaviness and sadness, a quiet kind of loss. The kind, that doesn't scream, but quietly steals your joy. And the thing is, I want to change. I want to change in my finances, in my relationship, in my profession. I want to change in my life. I wanted clarity, but I just couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out how to fix it. I remember having a conversation where I said, it's just my life is not going the way I desire, and I just don't know how to fix it. I didn't, you know. I just couldn't figure it out. And like right before the retreat, I was starting to kind of come out of that and to get some resolution and clarity and focus on what I had control over and to let go of the things that I didn't. And I looked forward to this opportunity to really embrace this retreat because this retreat was focused on fun and relaxation. So my firm does a retreat or does retreats twice a year. And usually the spring retreat is a fun team building, but it's mostly an opportunity for us to get together and to enjoy ourselves. It's not a lot of work. The fall retreat will be that, but it will usually have some type of workshop. So we'll, kind of work a little bit during the fall retreat. But the spring retreat is usually just fun. It's fun. So this was a really great opportunity, and I did not want to squander it. So I created a purpose plan before I came to Austin. And I wanted to make sure that this wasn't just time away, but that it was a true retreat. And so I made plans to write in my journal and to capture my thoughts and feelings that I had been experiencing and to write out my intentions and craft new affirmations. And that's what I did. I wrote in my journal. I captured my thoughts and feelings in my cute little ice cream notebook. I couldn't eat ice cream at the time, but I could write things down in my ice cream notebook. And I wrote out my intentions and I wrote a new affirmation. One of the things that I like to do is I write affirmations and then I record them in my own voice. And I listen to them in the mornings while I'm getting dressed. And it's just a real way to give voice to my thoughts, but it is also powerful to hear these affirmations in my own voice. So I wrote and recorded some new ones because the rooms that we had, they were kind of like little houses. So there was like a house that had, I guess, 3 stories, and they had a cute little front porch. And my front porch kind of overlooked kind of like this valley because we were up on a hill. And so behind the um, resort was this valley looking thing or whatever. So anyway, it was a beautiful view. And um, I sat out on that little porch one morning with a great cup of coffee and wrote out some new affirmations. But again, I do not think it was by chance that I went to the rock to cry and to release. And that moment on the rock wasn't just a cry, it was truly a cathartic moment where I had an opportunity to truly let go. And that's the beauty of letting go and releasing and unplugging is it is a pathway to renewal. And I came to this retreat wondering, how am I going to survive without all my my tech things. How am I need my iPhone. I need my iPad. I need my AirPods. I need my Apple Watch. I need all this stuff. And I didn't. I would have been okay without those things, and I was okay without those things. But what I discovered, is that peace doesn't live in our phones. It lives in our presence. And when we unplug from our devices, we get the beautiful opportunity to reconnect with ourselves. And that disconnection is the greatest source of your power. So, when is the last time you truly unplugged? Not just from technology, but from noise and from obligations and from people, relationships, situationships, the job. Because that's one downside of working remotely is it can be more difficult to disconnect from the job because you don't ever leave. But when was the last time you truly unplugged? Do you really give yourself permission to just be? Or are you like me, tethered to your phone, carrying it around with you all the time? Because that's something, I have become acutely aware of is how I'm tethered to my phone. I take it with me everywhere I go. If I go upstairs, I take the phone upstairs. If I go downstairs, I take the phone downstairs. If I leave out my office, go in the kitchen, I take the phone. What in the world is going to happen that is so important that I need to walk around with this phone all the time? Who or what am I trying to be connected to all the time? Because even the people that's trying to find me, they not texting and calling me all day long. They working and living their lives too. So if I leave it in the office, chances are, if I'll hear it from the kitchen if somebody calls or texts, so it's just so important for us to just be mindful about how connected we are to other people, to other things, to beliefs. There's so many things that we're connected to that if we just gave our permission to unplug from, we would gain a freedom beyond our imagination. We need to we need to get over and release the thought or the belief that we need to be constantly connected to stay in touch with life. Sometimes the unplugging allows us to hear the clearest messages from our souls. How can you even hear yourself think if you are always connected to this box that is emitting other people's thoughts? How are you making time and space for your own thoughts? Because here's the truth. Peace is waiting. Clarity is waiting. You are waiting for you. It's time for us to embrace the power of disconnecting so that we can connect to ourselves, to our purpose, to our peace. So, if this episode resonated with you, I'd like for you to consider carving out a tech-free moment this week. An hour, an afternoon, maybe a whole day if you can. Just disconnect. Journal, pray, meditate, or just sit in silence. Just sit in silence so that you can hear your own thoughts and you can hear and feel and see the peace around you. And if it moves you, y'all know I want to hear. Share your experience with me. I'd love to hear what you hear when your soul speaks, when the noise quiets down. Because here's something to remember, even in the silence, even in the stillness, you are seen, you are known, and you are loved. So commit to unplugging from the people, things, and situations that are draining you so that you can connect to a power that is going to energize, rejuvenate, and release you. Stay rooted, stay open, and trust the stillness that you experience. Well, that's all I have to say about that. Thank you for joining me for another musing from the mind of Dr. SDB, where I share provocative thoughts that help you live your life in the end. I hope you learned something. I hope you felt something. But girl, most of all, I hope you do something. Fulfillment won't happen because you desire it. It will happen because you decide to go get it. Let's get it. This episode was brought to you by the Successful and Fulfilled Woman New You Transformation, a VIP day for the high-achieving woman who is ready to be successful and fulfilled. If you are a woman who feels burned out and uninspired, or you are a woman ready to start over after a divorce, death, or other disruption, or you are a mother whose children are ready to leave the nest or are already gone, and you are now ready to create a meaningful life for yourself, or you are a woman who's approaching your golden years and you want the next half to be the best half, or you are a woman who's ready to get more out of life and ready to stop marking time and start living life, then we need to have a revelation conversation. Go to www.everythingideserve.com to schedule your complimentary revelation conversation, where together we will talk about where you are now and where you want to be, and begin to develop a plan to get you where you desire to be. You will leave your revelation conversation understanding the first thing that you can start doing today to begin living a successful and fulfilled life. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Living Life in the End for the Successful and Fulfilled Woman. Please be sure to let me know what made you feel something, what you learned, and what moved you to action. Please subscribe so you don't miss out on a great conversation. And don't forget to rate and review the podcast and let me know how you are living life in the end. Life is too long to be unfulfilled. Don't keep all this goodness to yourself. Tell someone else to listen for themselves. We should all be fulfilled. Remember, your life is the product of your choices. Choose to commit to bringing the desires of your heart to completion. You don't get what you deserve until you get what you decide. Life is too long to be unfulfilled.